My name is Walter, and I'm 84 years old. I've lived through losing my parents at a young age, divorce, bankruptcy, the death of my best friend, and years of loneliness I don't like to talk about. And this question from my grandson, it cut right through me, because I've asked myself that very same question more times than I can count. The difference is that I'm standing near the end of my road looking back, while he's just stepped onto the starting line looking forward into the unknown. And somewhere between these two perspectives, I finally understood something very important. We live in a world where everyone wants to be special. Everyone dreams of recognition, of being noticed, of their name meaning something. Young people burn out at jobs they don't like because they believe success will make them happy. They count likes under their photos. They compare themselves to people they don't even know. And I understand this. I really do. But here's what I've learned in almost 9 decades on this earth. The things that truly matter almost never feel important when they're happening. Let me tell you about my neighbor Howard. He lived across from us for 38 years. Howard was a mechanic, worked at the same auto shop his whole life. He never married, lived alone in a small house with 2 dogs. When he retired, the guys from the shop threw him a small party. Maybe 20 people came. They gave him a watch and a card with signatures. 3 years later, Howard died of a heart attack. I thought only a few people would come to the funeral. He was so quiet, so unnoticeable. But that funeral hall was packed. People stood along the walls, and one by one, they came up to speak. A woman in her 40s told how Howard fixed her car for free when she was a single mother with no money. A man in his 60s said Howard taught him everything he knows about cars. A young guy told how Howard noticed he'd gotten mixed up with a bad crowd and simply started inviting him to help out in the garage after school. And this guy said it saved his life. Howard never tried to be important. He just showed up every day and did what he knew how to do the best he could. He noticed people. He saw when someone needed help. Nothing that would make the newspapers, but the ripples from his life are still spreading through people he never even knew. I think we've got it all backwards. We believe that mattering means being noticed, being famous, but life doesn't work that way. Life is held together by small moments between people, a word spoken at the right time, help that comes just when it seems like all is lost. These things don't feel big when they happen, they feel ordinary. When I was 43, I was going through the worst period of my life. My wife left me. The business was falling apart. I felt like a complete failure. One evening I was sitting on the porch, just staring into the darkness, thinking about whether it was worth continuing at all. And then my neighbor Larry, with whom I'd maybe exchanged a dozen words in my entire life, just walked over and sat down beside me. He didn't ask what happened. He just sat there with me in silence. And then he said, "Nice night, isn't it?" And we just sat there maybe an hour. He talked about growing tomatoes, about a baseball game, nothing deep, just ordinary human conversation. And somehow something inside me calmed down. I went to sleep that night. I woke up the next morning. I kept living. Larry probably forgot about that night by the next day, but I didn't forget. That moment mattered. That's the essence of real meaning. It's almost never loud. You won't get a notification that your actions changed someone's life. Most of the time, you'll never know. You'll do something that seems like nothing to you, and it will be everything to someone else. My brother Raymond spent his whole life collecting old photographs, not his own but other people's. He found them at flea markets, in antique shops, photographs of strangers whose names he didn't know. I always thought it was a strange hobby. He used to say, "Every person deserves to have someone remember that they existed." After he died, I found boxes of these photographs, and in each box were notes where he tried to learn the stories of these people. He wrote letters to archives, searched for relatives, sometimes even found them, and returned the photographs to families. Dozens of people got back a piece of their history thanks to my strange brother. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was younger. Your life doesn't have to be spectacular to have meaning. This pressure to be special, to stand out from the crowd, it just kills people from the inside. It makes them think their ordinary life isn't good enough. But the truth is that almost everything holding our world together is created by people no one will remember. Mothers who stay up at night with sick children, fathers who work 2 jobs, teachers who stay after class, nurses who hold people's hands in their final moments. Small, unnoticeable actions that keep everything from falling apart. Want to know if you matter? Look at the people right in front of you. Are you present with them? Do you really see them? Are you kind when it's inconvenient? These questions won't make you famous, but they will determine whether your life actually meant something. I thought long and hard about my grandson's question, and I realized that the question itself contains an error, because when we ask if we matter, we usually mean big, noticeable meaning. But real meaning doesn't work that way. It's quieter, it's closer. It's the knowledge that your presence or absence will have a real impact on real people. When my granddaughter was 9, she was terribly afraid of dogs. All summer I took her with me to the park where people walked their dogs. We just sat on a bench from a distance. Then we moved a little closer. I didn't push, I was just there. By the end of summer, she petted her first dog. She's 26 now and she has her own Labrador. She probably doesn't remember those hours on the bench. But I remember it mattered, not because it's impressive, because it's real. The older I get, the more I realize that most of what we chase is a smokescreen. Status fades, achievements are forgotten, but people don't forget how you made them feel. They don't forget that you showed up when it was hard. These things stay. So here's my answer to my grandson, and perhaps to you. Yes, what you do matters, but probably not the way you think. It matters in the small things, in the unglamorous. It matters when you choose patience instead of irritation, when you tell the truth even when lying is easier, when you help someone even if no one sees. Your life doesn't have to be a spectacle to have meaning, it just has to be honest, present, kind, and that's harder than it sounds because these things require attention. You have to show up even when you're tired. But that's where the real meaning of life lies, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet, steady work of being human alongside other humans. I'm 84, I don't know how many years I have left, and when I think about what I want my life to be, I don't think about awards or achievements. I think about the people I loved with all my heart, about moments when I was fully present, about conversations where I really listened. That's what mattered. That's what will remain after me. If any of this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you want more conversations like this, because I still have things to say and I want to say them to those who truly want to listen.